Bowling with the Theft.
I encourage you to get fast.
Your bowling stories.
All things the game of bowling.
Every week.
Helping bowlers.
The hand collapses down.
Live.
And I'm going to try to bowl the best I can.
2,000 subscribers. 2,000 subscribers.
I want to challenge Chad Nelson.
Tom Corbett.
Jason Belmonte.
Let's do this. This is Bowling with the Pfaff.
Better late than never, right? Technology is certainly great until it's not. Happy Wednesday evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bowling with the Pfaff, a platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on our YouTube channel. The real tragedy about this late start is that I know our guest tonight is just going to get back on the lanes after the show. So we're really delaying that by having the technical problems. But we're on now, so hopefully he'll get all his games in because, yeah, bowling is the important thing tonight, right? Really any night, I think. Anyway, we're going to start with some somber news tonight. If you are in Minnesota's bowling community, you may have heard that a real legend of the sport in that area has passed away, and now a funeral is scheduled for this gentleman who was one of Minnesota's most accomplished bowlers and pro shop operators. Gary Arntzen, who was the founder of On Track Pro Shops in the Twin Cities, died on Sunday. He founded that chain of pro shops in 1990. His son posted the funeral arrangements on Facebook late this afternoon. The service will be on Tuesday, August 27th, 1 in the afternoon at Hosanna Church in Lakeville, Minnesota. The visitation starts at noon, and there is food and refreshments afterwards. Arntzen is, according to his Minnesota State USBC Hall of Fame bio, started bowling in 1959 in Duluth, setting high series and average records in the years to follow. At the time of his induction to the State Hall of Fame in 2007, he had won 24 association titles, including 6 state championships. He is also in the CBA, Minneapolis, and St. Paul's Halls of Fame. Arntzen was 72 years old, and I really feel bad about this. I didn't know Gary. I never had a chance to meet him. But as you may recall, when we had Scott Pohl on the show, his off-the-sheet challenge was to his friend and mentor, Gary Arntzen. We did connect on Facebook. Unfortunately, we never ended up messaging, never talked about him coming on the show. I know he did have some health problems in the weeks to follow, and just a really a sad time for the bowling community in Minnesota, and certainly my thoughts go out to his family and those who knew him best. Well, if you were watching last night, how about that finish to the PWBA Tour season for Player of the Year, Lee Jane Sin? She ended up hitting a key double at the end of the championship match to defeat Jordan Richard and claim the PWBA Tour Championship, her 4th title of the season. She becomes the 2nd international player to win Player of the Year on the PWBA Tour and heads back to Malaysia with another $50,000, about $154,000 for the season, which will lead in earnings. Here are the latest Tour champions. As you can see, 2 of those wins came in the aforementioned PWBA Tour Championship. She also took the U.S. Women's Open earlier in the season. You've got Danielle McEwen and Anthony Simonson, repeat champs at the Lucy Doubles. In the first ever PBA, PBA 50, PWBA Jonesboro trios, it was Brianna Clemmer, Francois Lavoie, and Tom Hess taking that championship. Hui Fen Nu, who was on the telecast last night, was the champion at the Greater Detroit Open. And Jillian Martin keeps on rolling along, her 2nd PWBA Tour Championship of the year at the PWBA Pepsi Open to complete the season there. From there, we look forward to 2025. Crystal Elliott, by the way, the breakout rookie who made 2 shows, including the PWBA Twin Cities Open, the first event of the year, takes Rookie of the Year honors. So congratulations to both of those ladies on their awards. And congratulations to the PWBA on having another great season. Can't wait to see them in action again next year. Gabor Knapp says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, and prayers to the family. My condolences Thank you for saying that. I'm sure they appreciate that. And I certainly appreciate you being here live to see the show. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Handmade salsa is great, but it's such a hassle. Cutting yourself, the constant waiting, burning yourself. Oh, look at that mess. Raise your snack standards. Chip Magnet Salsa.
Yeah, don't make that stuff handmade. Let Chip Magnet do the work. You'll be thankful you did. They are an Eau Claire-based salsa company. They make salsa, they make sauces, and stuff like that, food products that they distribute to stores in more than 28 states and Canada. They do distribute in the Chicagoland metro area. When you go to your favorite local store, ask for them by name, or what you can do is go to chipmagnetsalsa.com, enter the promo code BWTF2024, and when you do that at checkout and you have at least $30 in product, you will save 25%. And there is no limit to that deal. Chip Magnet Salsa, raise your snack standards, and a big thank you to the folks at Chip Magnet Salsa for supporting bowling and Bowling with the FEF. Well, with the upcoming bowling season almost upon us, you're going to have the opportunity to bowl a lot of tournaments. And I want you to get this one on the old calendar, the Commander Cup. It is the first ever Commander's Cup on September 7th, which happens to be Ma Fef's birthday. It's at All-Star Lanes in Indianapolis. $70 to get in. You got a $10 scratch option. The format is pretty simple. 5 games of qualifying. They cut to the top half. And then it's an eliminator after that. 3 games in each of the next 2 rounds, and then 2 games in the rounds to follow until they end up with the commander. He or she is guaranteed to get $1,000. If you want more information or to register, all you got to do is go to dogtagsbowling.com. And that name, as you may know, is getting rather familiar around bowling circles, due in part to the Duce, who is here with us live from Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville, Illinois. Brian Ducey, it is a pleasure to have you on Bowling with the FEF.
Well, thanks for having me, man. That's a great intro. And yeah, so it's got a lot bigger than we thought, a lot faster than we thought. So it is definitely a rolling in progress, and we've done a lot of good things. And we're giving money back to veterans, and we have a Dog Tags bowling show on Tuesday nights. We actually had the Indiana Warrior Project. That's who we're going to give the money to, that we're going to raise from the Dog Tags bowling event. They're going to be getting a check from us after that. So it's pretty awesome. Very awesome.
Yeah, there's the channel in case you haven't seen it before. If you haven't, check it out. They've got all kinds of content available on replay. Hit the subscribe button for them, just like you do for this one, because it is certainly a great follow. You guys have a host of characters on your show that I want to get to kind of as we go here. First and foremost, Brian, you're a veteran, as you've talked about on the show many times. And I want to start out by, thanking you for your service. That kind of thing, serving our country is very important to me. I never, I never enlisted or anything like that. My father's a Navy veteran. My father-in-law's a Navy veteran. And I just have the utmost respect for those of you who serve your country in that manner. So let me first say a hearty thank you for what you've done for our country.
Thanks very much. It's greatly appreciated. I'm proud to say that I'm a veteran, proud to say I served. Didn't realize as an 18-year-old kid what it really meant. And it meant more to me as the older I get, the more it means to me. So yeah, I'm very proud to say that I served.
Yeah. And that's a cool aspect of Dog Tags Bowling that we're going to get to in a bit. The first question, has got to be obvious, right? Do you wash the chicken before you season it?
Yeah, that's just one of the craziest. So anybody that watches, you need to go back and watch a few of the Dog Tag shows. So Joel Eisen is our Dog Tags Bowling Pro Shop guy. He runs the Victory Lanes Pro Shop for Tim Mack in Indianapolis at Woodland Lanes. Great guy. Oh my gosh, he fits in with us so well. But he's a New Jersey guy. He's one of them Northeast guys. But his thing is that he washes his chicken before he cooks it.
Okay.
And the USDA and my wife, who is a doctor of veterinary medicine, says, no, you do not wash your chicken because then you just distribute salmonella across your entire kitchen. So, Joe, I hope you're watching, but if you are, comment because you don't wash your chicken, bro.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It spreads the bacteria everywhere.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. You had also talked about other food items, on the show. One of them being Rice Krispies with just the milk. Period. I would eat it that way.
Rice Krispies without milk, yeah.
With just Rice Krispies and milk. They were saying,
with no sugar.
You got to put something. No. I do it just with the milk. Same with Wheaties, cornflakes, whatever.
They got enough sugar in them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the one that, really kind of hit a serious note was the tomato sandwich on white bread, because that's kind of your thing. And you mentioned that, this was something that was kind of out of necessity for a while that you've kind of taken with you over the years.
Yeah, there's back in the day. I mean, everyone's got their startups, and back in the day, we didn't have a whole lot of money, so you made a sandwich with what you could make with it. You had, I think Steve Martin actually has a skit. They call it the wish sandwich. You have 2 pieces of bread, and you wish you had some meat because that's all you could have. So It was a wish sandwich. So tomato sandwich, grilled cheese. I mean, there was no meat. There was no time for meat.
Yeah. In VH1's Behind the Music with Metallica, they talked about the loser's lunch, which was bologna on hand because they couldn't afford the bread.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is out there. Okay. Mark London says that Arnson posted a spec sheet of someone he fit years ago and added a great story of that occasion. The customer was really into purple. Maybe you can let me know about that offline. Chip Magnet, he says, available in Cub Foods in Wilmer, Minnesota. Woohoo! Tell him I sent you. He was very excited about that before his State Hall of Fame induction.
What's up, Mark? Nice
in
to
Minnesota.
see you, buddy.
Yeah. Gabor Knapp says, good evening, Duce.
This is one of our hardy followers of dog tags. Gabor lives, I believe, Virginia, Tennessee area. He drove all the way to Illinois to come bowl at our 9-pin no-tap at Palace Bowl in Johnsburg, Illinois. So He's a huge supporter. We were calling him the dog tag stalker, but you can tell he's a retired Army guy, so there's no stalker in that. He's coming to the Commander's Cup, so he's part of the group. He is one of the guys.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, Gabor, for your service too. He says you have to watch your chicken. Does he say wash?
I think he meant wash.
Hope you don't get sick from that, man. That's dangerous sledding there. All right. So we talked a little about the Commander's Cup in this, in the open to this show. Tell us about kind of where that came from, how that idea was born, and why you're running a tournament like this.
So it really has snowballed so quickly, and we absolutely have to give the shout out to Michelle Russell. Without her, this never would have happened. So Gary, myself, and JVB, and a couple of other guys, we kind of put this together. Jason really kind of started dog tags in the background before really we knew what was going on. And then Gary came on board and I came on board and we kind of said, hey, let's just do something for veterans. Let's just do what we can. And then we were Gary calls it the best non-bowling show on the internet because we just have a lot of fun. It's just guys talking smack. We have our cocktails with us when we're doing it, but it's a lot of fun. And then it kind of grew, and there's no easy way to say this, we were monopolizing our friendships with these pro bowlers. So we know so many guys. We've had Kyle Troop, we've had Tom Smallwood, we've had AJ, EJ, Jesper, we've had Tom Barrett, we've had Stu Williams, we've had, and forgive me if there you go. Forgive me if I've left anybody off. But we kind of reached out to them and said, hey, would you guys kind of help us? And then it gained some traction. Yeah, there's the boy. That's actually in my basement, actually.
Oh, wow.
We got these guys on, and then Michelle Russell saw what we were doing, and Michelle's known Gary for years, and said, hey, I really think you guys are doing something special here. Let me help. And so with her contact, with the people that she's known with the PBA. She's called the PBA wife on our channel. We got Kimberly Pressler on our show. We had Dave Lamont. We've had Kurt Von Kruger. We've had people that do not do social media come on because of the stance that we're doing. Now, we're never going to be a BVL. We're not going to compete with Johnny Petraglia's organization. We're not going to compete with a DAV, but we're going to do local stuff that we can take the monies that we're trying to raise and give it back to local communities and make a difference. And every little bit counts. So the Indiana Warrior Project that we're doing in Indianapolis is going to be huge. So really, it has got to do with Michelle. We wanted to do a kickoff of some kind, so that's what we did here in Illinois with the 9-pin no tap. Now it's just kind of, hey, let's just try it, see kind of a response. First tournament I've ever run in my entire life, so it was trial by fire. And thank God to the people out there helped me, because there's no way I could have done without them. We were limiting it to 80 bowlers, and we had 71. So for the first time trying to do something, it was huge. We had a great time. It was a huge success. I'm not saying that because we did it. I'm saying because what the people said.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, this was great. Do it again. When could we do it? So then I gave that back to our board, which is the four of us. It's Michelle, myself, Gary, and JVB. Like, hey, we got to do something. And so we were always trying to plan this national tournament of some kind. And we were just waiting on dates. And we knew we wanted to try and do it in the Indianapolis area. It's where Michelle's based out of. It's kind of centrally located. It's easy for everyone to get to. And we have it right between a couple regional stops. So we're probably going to get several PBA guys that are going to come bowl in this, which is great for us. The more exposure we get is the better. And we've seen a lot of people post it on Facebook, and they're sharing. Michelle Bigelow. I mean, there's Lisa Bigelow. Excuse me. There's tons of people sharing this information out there that are getting it out there, and obviously you as well, getting out to people in Wisconsin. It's not that far. People that are true bowlers are willing to travel.
Sure. Yeah. And with that, guaranteed 1,000 on top, I mean, that's a big money event that you don't find a ton of, at least in my area, and certainly not, even in the Midwest all the time.
And the thing I like about it is it's going to be, there's a lot of sweepers that people can do at their local center. There's, 3, 4, 6 game stuff you can get done. But this is going to be run like a true PBA regional, one-day regional. You're going to get 5 games of qualifying on 5 different pairs. So it really can challenge your skill set. And then if you make it all the way to the end, it's 16 games in one day.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge of the fittest.
Sure.
This old 56-year-old guy ain't gonna make it.
But that's cool. I mean, like I said, those are the events that the highly competitive crowd really want.
And it's great because I've actually got a house rented already. We've got 18 beds in it. There's 2 bedrooms. Those are full because they've got a couple couples are coming, male and female. But we're stacking the house. We've got a lot of people coming. We've got some guys from Chicagoland that are coming, and so we're trying to fill it, make it easy. Going to be fun. We're having an event on Friday night, the doubles tournament. It's kind of just our staff doing it, but everyone's welcome to come and have a good time. And then Saturday morning, I think check-in is at 9 and we bowl at 10. So come join. It'll be a good time.
Everybody's going to ask, what kind of shot are you putting out for this?
It is supposed to be I think it's not going to be a PBA pattern. I think they're going to do a modified house shot, because if you're bowling that many games, you got to put a little bit more oil out there, because the breakdown is going to get so bad, especially if we get, some PBA high rev guys with a lot of surface that they just get beat up real bad. So I'm thinking modified house. We haven't necessarily heard, but it's not going to be the shark. It's not going to be the cheetah. It's not going to be, something crazy, something that I would not compete on. Gotcha.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So Gabor says, yes, sorry, Wash. He did mean Wash the chicken. Travis, Henriksmeyer says, what's up, Duce and Fett?
Hey, what's up, Travis?
What's up with you? You know Travis?
I do. That's Trey's dad. Yeah.
It sure is.
We've hung out a few times. Absolutely.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Good luck to him. I'm guessing Trey's already in Wichita. He's got to be either there or close. So
yeah, exactly.
Good luck with that. Mark says, thanks for the motive ball video, Duce. Once you own a pair of cold ones, or no, owe you a pair of cold ones. That's even better, my friend. And thank you for the service. Tell us about the ball videos.
So Mark actually bowled. He was doing he was up here at Liberty Lanes doing the PBA 50 stop for a regional, and we were bowling the 9-pin no tap pro-am that night, and it was the 10-year anniversary of the Venom Shock. So we were throwing some shots, and what do you know? It strikes. It just does. It does. It's the OG of Motive. It strikes every time you throw it. So I was able to get a video of him. He got a video of me throwing on the 10-year anniversary of striking. We sent it off to Motive. They put it on their website, sent it to Brett. So it was good. We got some Motive swag.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Gabor said hand Randy Peterson also. That's a good get. And Travis said just got here yesterday. So he is in the heartland. That's going to be great for him, for his son and for him. London says both of us struck on the first shot.
That we did.
Yeah.
We didn't. There was no retake. Rewind, delete. No.
One take.
They were right there. Boom.
Yeah. One take wonder. Love that. Okay, so let's kind of take it back to the beginning. I mean, everybody starts their bowling journey somewhere. For you, you said you're originally from Champaign. Is that where you started in bowling?
No, I was a football, baseball, basketball player. I had no idea about bowling.
Okay.
There are basically 2 centers in Champaign-Urbana, and then there's one in Savoy. So no, I didn't get my start at all in bowling. After I joined the service, my ex-wife and I bowled in a mixed league. I bought a Columbia white dot at Kmart. Literally, I'm not kidding. Took a little classes on how to bowl and started that. And then I didn't bowl again. That would have been like 1987. And then I didn't bowl again until like 96 with my stepdad. I subbed with him on his league. Then moved to Idaho in 2000. Like 2000, and moved before that. So I didn't really bowl since like 98. And then 2010, moved to here where I'm at now. And then I got hooked up with these guys, these jackwagons behind me. And so really started out, actually crazy story. This is so funny. So I was working in Plainfield, Illinois. I said, I want to bowl. I still had my gear from 1996. I was a 195, 2-0 bowler in 96, so I wasn't bad. Yeah. So I go in and I get drafted by this guy. His name's Steve Lunsford. He's on Stars and Stripes Pro Shop. He's actually one of the guys that drills AJ's stuff now. And I didn't know any of this at the time. So I come in, he's like, hey, any good? I'm like, 10 years ago, I averaged 195, 200. I could throw the ball. He goes, what kind of gear are you throwing? I go, dude, I got a black Rhino. He goes, you're going to need some new stuff. Yep. So we got some new stuff, and Steve helped out a great deal. And to this day, we're still good friends. His daughter Barbara's a fantastic bowler. She travels and does a lot of stuff. So and the more you're around the bowling community, you realize how small it really is. I mean, everybody knows everybody, and it's just a great community to be part of.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, as soon as you said the name Lunsford, I was thinking of Barbara. Mm-hmm. And she's tremendous, does some content creation too. Yep. I mean, that's awesome. So you were back from the service and you kind of got going then, even if maybe you didn't start right then and there. What was it like to kind of build your game up after having that little hiatus, of about 10, 11 years?
You realize, oh my gosh, how great it is, and how passionate I became, and how addicted I became. I golf and I bowl. Those are the 2 things I do. I don't do anything other than that. It is a lot of fun, and I tell people all the time, this is the reason why I'm passionate about it, because I'm an old, beat-up old guy. I can't do any of that other stuff. I'm not playing basketball. I'm not playing pickleball. My knees are shot. That would never happen. There's 2 sports you can play for your entire life. You can golf and you can bowl. Okay? So learn how to do it when you're young, and you'll have a lifelong of fun. So that's why I push it. It's become a passion. People might say I'm passionate, but some might say I'm opinionated. Probably a little both. But I am very passionate about the sport. in my opinion, and the exposure that we get, this is what's crazy. I don't care. You can be the biggest Tom Brady fan ever. You're not going to go play catch with Tom Brady on the field.
Right.
Not going to happen. After the game's over, you're not going to go to the bar and have a drink with him. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to pay to go play golf with Tiger Woods unless you're playing some pro-am that's going to cost you $10,000 to do that.
Yeah.
The PBA and WPBA and the PBA 50 are so open to everyone. You can go do a pro-am and bowl with anywhere between the 3 or 6 PBA pros. That's how I met AJ Johnson. That's how I met EJ Tackett. That's how I met Ryan Simonelli. The very first time they had one right here where I'm bowling at. And we've become friends ever since. And it's so awesome because you get to meet them on the lanes, you talk to them a little bit, and then you go hang out with them afterwards and you realize, hey, these are normal guys. They put their pants on and want a good time too. So, and they're super nice guys. There's no jackwagons out there. They're just great people.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? I mean, and I feel like it's taken, me to get into this content creation thing to really learn about that, because I had never been to a national tour stop. Probably, last regional tour stop I had been to was when I was in college. And you just don't realize that these guys they're every men and every women.
Absolutely.
And it's the kind of access that you don't get in other sports. You brought it up. I remember interviewing Randy Peterson, and he had brought up about the access to the pros, and he kind of questioned whether maybe there's too much access to the pros. I'm in the camp with you where I've enjoyed it so much that I would hate for there not to be that access. Well, I think it's more than that. I think it's who they are, right?
100%. And I was gonna say that is there are times when you're not going to get that access. They're just focused. They're doing their job. This is how they make their living. So there's going to be times that happens. But literally, I was at the U.S. Open and I watched Kyle Troup lose, and he stood in line and signed autographs for an hour while everybody walked through after he lost. Okay, you won't see that anywhere else. Tom Brady's not. Peyton Manning's not sticking around and signing autographs after he loses the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. So there is a lot of access that you can get, but the best time to do that, people that are watching, go to a national tournament and go do a pro-am. Do the pro-am because it's much more laid back. Most of the time you're going to bowl with 6 because you're going to bowl 3 games. You're going to bowl half a game each, they keep moving. So you're going to bowl with 6 PBA pros, WPBA pros, PBA 50 guys, doesn't matter. Go do that. That's going to get your best exposure. And people ask me all the time, Duce, how'd you become friends with these people? Because I talk to them. It's like, hey, I'm nice to meet you. I just talk to them.
Yeah. I was I had a nice conversation on the phone last night with Monty Skeels, who I guess you were golfing with before that. He said that you guys are best friends. He said you're 2 peas in a pod, you do everything together, and that you're a guy who will do anything for you no matter what it takes. But he also said he could make friends with someone he doesn't like. Have you always been that outgoing and that willing to be buddies with people like that?
Yeah, it's kind of a gift of gab that I've been given. People call me a used car salesman. I say I only sell new cars. Yeah, I mean, I'm a salesman for a living, and people ask me what I sell. I say, what do you want to buy? So that's kind of my tagline. It is what it is. We'll figure. If I don't make it, we'll figure out how to get you one. We'll do that. But I mean, I was in the service, and I met so many people, and there's so many different people from everywhere in the country that you meet, and you have to make friends with people. You're going to put your life in their hands. They're going to put your life in your hands. So you got to get along with people. So I'm very much a people person. I actually had one guy tell me one time, it's like, man, I think you could make a friend at a funeral. And he's probably right. But yeah, I mean, it's a good example right here. I mean, literally right behind where I'm sitting. I'm on the low end of this bowling center. Someone is at the high end of the bowling center. And I've been at PBA tournaments. I know what a PBA ball sounds like when it hits the pins. So I'm way down there, and I'm hearing this bang, bang. I'm like, that's a PBA guy. So I kind of spark up. I look, and it's Greg Young. Greg Young, bowl from McKinstry. He's been on tour. So I walk down. I'm like, Hey, man, you're Greg Gillen. I'm Brian Ducey. Nice to meet you. Boom. And Greg and I are buddies now. So, I mean,
Wow.
just don't be afraid to go talk to people. I said, I've seen you on TV. I know who you are.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of how this happened, right? Because
100%.
I'm down bowling on the string pins. You are too. In fact, I've got some video of it, stored up.
Not the gutter ball, right?
No, only the good stuff. But I'm interviewing Jerry Mars, and who I've really only known through him doing this show. And he tells me, "Oh, you got to talk to Ducey. He's the best. You got to talk to him. He does this dog tags thing." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of dog tags bowling." And so we get acquainted, and it's like I told Monty last night. You're the guy that everyone wants to sit down and have beer with.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, you are that guy. And, he also went on to say he has like 25 Pro Bowlers contacts. He says that's just who he is. He's so outgoing. He's like, I don't care what you think. I'm going to be your friend. Which is kind of cool. I mean, because like you said, not everybody is like that, but maybe more of us should be, right?
I would just say don't be intimidated by a guy that's got a PBA logo on his shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a professional person. People don't get intimidated because I sell. So that's what they do for a living. Does not make them different. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Randy's right there. They definitely, they are used to people coming up and talking to them. Yeah. I mean, these are my peeps, man. Really. I mean, one of the greatest stories I have is one morning I get a text message from Kyle Troop. He's like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "Nothing. What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm here in Chicago. I got to fly to Singapore tomorrow. I got to kill some time." I said, "Well, let's go golfing." He goes, "All right, cool." So he drives out, and I'm the league secretary treasurer for this bowling center at my bowling league. And I'm normally here between 4:30, 5 o'clock, getting stuff ready to go, bowl some games, get loose, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's like 6:15 and I'm not here. People running around the bowling center like, "My God, where's Ducey at? What's going on?" So I walk in to this bowling center right here with Kyle Troop. You walk into a bowling center with Kyle Troop during league night, that's like walking into the Vatican with Jesus Christ. People are like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And like, "What's he doing here?" I'm like, "He's subbing for me tonight. I hurt my shoulder, so he's subbing for me tonight." But he did. But he sat around, literally, he sat around for 2 games, had some cocktails with us, signed autographs, hung out with us, flew out to Singapore the next day, and we've been buddies ever since. I really have. I've bowled the Derby tournament with him a couple years in a row, been to his house. Him and Brianna are great people. I mean, you can't ask for better folks. AJ Johnson, he's like my nephew. I mean, I love that kid. He's like he's mine. So, yeah, we're buddies.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, like I said, not everybody is like that, but, but that's really cool because you've got these great stories to tell. So, Monty says you guys met because it was about 2010 or so, and he's looking for a teammate. He's missing a guy from his team, and you kind of step up and say, "I'm bowling."
Well, it was funny because I told my wife, I said, "I want to bowl." So we bowled with Lunsford down at Plainfield, and then the job didn't work out there, so I didn't want to drive all the way to Plainfield because like it's an hour and 15 minutes away. So the local bowling center that's just up the street here, it's closed now. It was a Brunswick Center. So I said, "Hey, you guys have a bowling league?" And they're like, "Wednesday nights, men's, blah, blah." I'm like, "Cool." So I show up, and Monty basically drafts me. We had never met before. And the next thing you know, we do everything together.
Yeah.
I mean, we are freaking brothers to the end. It really is. He's the best friend I've ever had in my entire life. No offense to people I've known my entire life. Dwayne Johnson, if you're watching, he's one right there. They're one, too. But there's tons of people out, but Monty and I click like nobody else clicks. So it's awesome. And that never would have happened if I didn't say I want to go bowl or I went to a different bowling center. So it's weird how that works out. Monty's been with me to the Derby tournament with Troop. He's been golfing with Troop. He got himself to the World Series. Been up in Wisconsin many times. So he's just as passionate. He's a better bowler than I am. There's no doubt about that. He's got multiple 300s, multiple 800s. He's been doing it since he was 6. I've been doing it since I was 35, so he's got a little start on me.
Sure. And the thing that struck me was, I'm asking him about you, and he's telling me about how, you talk to anybody, you make friends with everybody. He kept using the word aggressive, which I don't know if that's an inside joke or what, but he also said every time he was describing you, he said, well, I'm not like that, but I mean, is this kind of an opposites attract type of thing where you're the outgoing one and he's kind of more reserved?
He's definitely more outgoing than he lets on. He is definitely outgoing. He has a good time. He's very funny. He'll talk to anybody as well. He may not initiate the conversation, but once he's in, he's in. So
he's in. Okay.
He's downplaying that. He's downplaying that.
All right, fair enough. Robert Moore says, "What's up, Ducey?
What's up, bud?
Someone you know?
Probably. Oh, that's RJ. Yes, I know RJ. Yeah, so he's under Robert. Yes, yeah. I know RJ and his wife Victoria very well. They have one of the bedrooms in that 18-bedroom house, our 18-bed house. They are coming to the Commander's Cup. So yeah, they're great people.
Cool. All right. So you got the bowling thing going. You're bowling regularly. You said you're passionate about it. How do you get hooked up with these guys, these people, guys and lady, for dog tags bowling?
Like I said, so Jason really kind of started the concept of dog tags. So he is an active duty he's either E8 or E9, first sergeant down in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. He and Gary had a relationship. Okay. Gary and I had a relationship on the P for P side. That is the pins for pins. So bowling pins for writing pins. That was really his organization that I got a part of when we met. When I drove to Jonesboro, Arkansas, so I watched Kyle Troop bowling against AJ Johnson. That's what I was going to see. So I met Gary then. He's former Navy. I'm former Army, and we just clicked. When you meet a guy that it's going to work, it works. Yeah. So we started doing the P for P stuff, and then his daughter got out of the bowling, so we really didn't need the pins for pins anymore. So we transitioned, and especially having another veteran part of it, we transitioned into the dog tags bowling to really kind of generate that as a 501c3, something that we can give back to the community. And the pins for pins was more for youth bowling. That was kind of the focus of that. So we kind of transitioned it from youth bowling into veterans. How can we help vets? And especially after all the other stuff these guys have had to be through. So,
yeah. You've got, the characters. It's not just you 2 or 3. You mentioned Gary Lewis. He's, they call him Moonshine, right? Moonshine. Okay. Michelle Russell, who you've talked about. That's Ronnie Russell's wife. She's the PBA wife. Mm-hmm. JVB, Jason Van Belcom.
Correct.
Okay.
He's the active duty E9 first sergeant that jumps out of airplanes. Perfectly good ones. So they're not crashing. He just jumps out of them.
and Joel Eisen, the Pro Shop guy.
He is the one that runs Victory Lanes Pro Shop at Woodland Lanes for Timmy Mack.
Okay. That's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Does it always work naturally, or do you have to kind of choreograph this and script it out?
What's really funny is 99% of it is freelance, ad lib, let her rip, tater chip kind of stuff. And everyone has such a good personality that we dig on one another, and it's funny, and people have a great time. Gary, so it all depends on the guest. So the guests that we have, Michelle Russell's the PBA wife. She's also called the enforcer because she makes sure that these crazy military guys don't get out of line, and kind of cracks the whip and says, you guys need to be a little bit more respectful. So when we, if we get Kyle Troop on, we can say whatever the hell we want. If we get AJ on, we say we're EJ, we say what we want. We can have a great time, rip them, blah, 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 and have a blast because we know those guys so well. They're not going to get offended by anything that we say. But when we get Dave Lamont on, when we get Kurt Von Kruger on, when we get Kimberly Pressler on, when we get these Randy Peterson, those are more the upper level of the PBA relationship, and we want to be careful not to offend them. But
Sure.
every single person that we have ever had on the show said, let me know when we want to be back on. We'll be back on. No one has said, don't call me again. So that's a pretty good compliment for us. And when we have those, we try and limit their time. I mean, we had Frankie LeVoir on right after he won the PBA trios. We had him on right after that show, after he won, and it was great. He had a fantastic time. He's like, listen, anytime you guys need me. Tom Hess has said he's going to come on. We'll come on. We have a standing line of people saying, you call me, you let me know we're coming on, I'll be on. So we have to ask, but no one has said no.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when we had Kimberly Preston on our show, it was announced that she was coming. And I saw Brad Miller, and we've had Brad and Kyle on the show too. I saw Brad Miller at the US Open, and he walks up to me, he goes, how in the world did you get Kimberly Preston on your show? We have asked her multiple times, and she says she doesn't do social media. And I'm like, hey, man, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's Michelle. Michelle did all that. So that's been a great and gives us credibility. And that's the hardest thing to do. And you know right now what you do.
Yeah.
For a content creator, credibility is really tough. It's really tough to get that credibility. And having someone on your staff and part of your board of directors, she's there. So like I said, we have a lot of fun. We cut up on one another, but when we have that guest that we need to, and Gary's actually started to do it now, is that we're gonna limit, I can ask questions for 5 minutes, then Jason can ask questions for 5 minutes, and Joel can ask questions for 5 minutes. That way it's a little bit more of a conversation rather than a shouting match, because it could get that way sometimes.
Sure. And that is basically the answer to the next question I was going to ask you is, how do you decide who interviews them, and are any of you better interviewers than the others?
That's a great question. I think everyone brings their own skill set. Michelle has been around the PBA way longer than the rest of us. So she can bring in the PBA perspective, or the professional, not just PBA, professional bowling perspective to it. I can bring the clowniness to it, have fun, and quick-witted. I think I am anyway. Try to be a little quick-witted and say some fun stuff. Jason's very quiet. He really is. I mean, he's like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, people listen. So when he says something, he's just laid back. He's just super laid back, super cool guy. He'll do anything for you, but he's not going to be as outgoing as myself. He's not going to be as outgoing as Gary. Gary's a pretty good cut up as well. I mean, with the nickname of Moonshine, how could you not be a cut up?
How could you not be? Yeah. For sure. I like this. Robert Moore says, or RJ as you called him, Dog Tags Bowling is such an awesome group. So honored to be part of their family. And it's cool when you've got people who describe it as family, because, it may or may not feel like that. How does it feel for you when you've got people from the outside describing you as family?
It's definitely a compliment, and RJ knows how we feel about RJ. He and Victoria are definitely family, and that's it's kind of wild. The bowling community is a lot of family stuff. It really is. You get kids that start off young, and they all go to junior gold and they've known each other for years. So it's kind of an extended family. Parents will drive other kids to the bowling tournaments, and so bowling does become a little bit of a family. But this dog tags that we've been doing, my goodness, it has exploded. We got people standing in line saying, hey, how can we help? And we just got to take our time. We can't get too big too fast and fail. We have to make sure that we stay the course and not take on too much before we need to be able to walk before we could run.
Yeah. Jerry Mars told me what they're doing for bowling and vets, I think, is pretty awesome. He says going to go down on September 7th and bowl their event in Indy. Going to be a good time.
Yep, he's coming. He's got one of the 18 beds. We've already got his reserved.
Okay. All right.
If Kelly was coming, they would have had one of the bedrooms, but Kelly can't make it. So.
Okay. All right. He also told me that the first time he bowled with you, you subbed on a league with him, and I believe that's Brian Valenta.
That is Brian Valenta, yeah.
Okay. So you came in with about a 170 something average.
Baseline, it wasn't 170.
Shot your first 700 that night, and the league called him baggers. Yet Valenta and he were over 248 for average. He says the next week you subbed and shot another 700.
So it's a very funny story. So my wife was out of town. It was a Friday night, and I wanted to bowl. I wanted to do something. I'm not just going to sit around the house, watch TV. I want to go do something. So I started calling around to all the local bowling centers. I'm like, hey, you guys have a men's league Friday night? Like, yeah, we got it. I'm like, do they normally need a sub? Is there like one team that's always needed somebody? Like, I don't know. Just drive and show up. I mean, you could have drove for 2 hours to get somewhere to go. You never know.
Yeah.
So I literally went on the USBC website and I wanted to find out where Jerry was bowling. I'm like, even if I don't bowl, I know somebody that's there because I know he bowls all the time. And I've known Jerry for years. I'm like, I'll drink beer and watch Jerry bowl and call it good.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm bowling. I'm bowling on the high end. And here he comes. Jerry comes walking through his stuff. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, just hanging out. Wife's out of town, blah, blah. He goes, you want a sub? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I need somebody tonight. I'm like, perfect.
There you go.
So like I said, I'm bowling with Jerry Mars, PBA professional. Joking with Brian Valenta, PBA professional. I get out there and I shoot 734. I didn't shoot no 750. I shot 734. First 700 I've ever shot in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Literally, I'm not kidding. First 700 ever. Not even in practice. So I shot 734. So Valenta shot like 810. Mars shot 790. I shoot 730. Another guy shoots 690, and another guy shoots like 660. And we just freaking steamrolled these guys.
Yeah.
And they called me the sandbagger because I shot my first 700 ever. So literally the next week, like I said, I'm bowling with great competition. So I step up to my game. I got to bowl good with these guys. So the next week I sub again, and I shot another 700. I shot back-to-back 700s.
Wow.
And they did kick Brian Valenta and Jerry Mars out of that league after that year.
My goodness. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And it's interesting that you kind of phrase it like that. I knew the competition was good. I had to step up my game because Monty, I asked him, what's he like in the heat of battle on the lanes? And he said, you're a competitor all day long. And, as much as, you're everybody's friend, when you're out there to win, right?
And some people could say otherwise. It all depends on the attitude of the day. If I'm stinking, I'm just going to stink. It doesn't matter. But if we're bowling for a cocktail, if we're bowling for a push-up, if we're bowling for $1, let's go. I'm in. Yeah. I have beat a lot of people that are way better than me because we're bowling for a beer.
Yeah. And that's the best way to show up, when something's on the line. Uh-oh. We're getting in trouble here.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Vicky. Sorry, Vicky.
Oh, I mean, there are worse things you could call her, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I could call her hot because that's what she is.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
she'll get a kick out of that.
Okay. I asked Monty about this year. You guys bowling together this year? Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Bowling together this season. We bowled every season since 2010. Yep. But he mentioned that this year you have finally decided to take off the wrist brace. He said, that you've been bowling with that for years and you took it off and you're bowling well with it, without it. And he said that you're very proud of being able to do that.
So, Jerry Mars has tried to help me with that. AJ's tried to help me with it. The local proprietor, Jerry Morano's tried. The pro shop guy, Eric Pollock. Eric Pollock's going to be on our show next week, by the way. Okay. He tried to get rid of it. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a crutch, but it was the only way I knew how. It's the way I started 20 plus years ago. The wrist brace was the thing. It really was. Everyone wore one. I actually had the Rhino one with the big old finger sticking out of it. My wife called me RoboCop when I bowled. It really... I'm not kidding. So I knew I wanted to get rid of it. I knew I wanted to practice with it. And I had tried before and just was uncomfortable. Didn't feel right. But this year I said, I don't care average drops 15 pins. I don't care. I'm getting rid of it, and we're going to bowl. We just bowled earlier tonight. I shot it just as well as I do normally with a wrist brace. Bowled a couple Sundays ago with a buddy of mine, Ed Sutherland. I don't know if he's watching, but Ed Sutherland in Huntley, and I shot like 279 without it. So it'll happen. It's fine, and I can spare the right side stuff a little bit easier without it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
I think it'll probably bowl 7 or 8 games, and then when we're done here tonight and get off the call, we're gonna go bowl some cash games tonight. I'm gonna bowl without it.
There you go. You gonna get RJ in the mix here? He says he's still waiting for a heads up match with you for beers.
He better bring a case because mash.
Oh, I love it. All right, so tell me about what's next for you as far as bowling, as far as the content creation. I mean, you guys are having a great run with dog tags. I mean, do you keep doing the same thing? Do you do different things?
So we are definitely going to get bigger. It's growing. What we're going to try and do is put like a regional staff together. So we want to get some veterans from across the country that can kind of help do our regional stuff, and then have the big national dog tag Commanders Cup is what we're going to call it in Indianapolis area. That's the plan. But we'd like to have someone in the Northwest do it. We have someone in the Northeast do it. Someone in the Southeast do it. Gary could help with that too. Someone in the Southwest, Dallas, Albuquerque, something in Vegas, something like that. Let's get some veterans on board that want to kind of do their own thing and still raise enough money for their local veterans organization, not go to some national stuff, because there's tons of money in the national stuff. We want to do the local stuff. We want to do the grassroots. We want to make sure that those people get recognized and can help. And those guys that can travel, if JVB wants to come, like JVB came from Tennessee, got on an airplane and flew up here to do the 9-pin. So, I mean, we're actually going to try and do another tournament in the Clarksville, Tennessee area that Jason's going to put together. We're kind of working on the logistics, but these are so long. It takes so much time to get these put together. The bowling center's got to be available. We got to put dates together. And if you don't do it months in advance, it's very difficult. It really is. So that's the goal, is to make it bigger, but more regionalized, and then have one big one in the middle.
Yeah.
And then there's some thoughts behind the scenes of doing, someone gets points from bowling in the Northwest. They get points for bowling in the Northeast. They get points for doing this. And then we invite them to the national tournament, and they're part of the crew, so to speak. And then we've even thought about doing, hey, whoever wins gets to go play golf with 2 of the best PBA golfers that are on tour. So there's a lot of things in the works. Like I said, we got to make sure that we can walk before we run. We don't want to stumble. We want to make sure it's a smooth transition, and it's going to take time. Hopefully we'll all have enough time, but it's going to take time.
Yeah. I mean, you're certainly right on about the time it takes, about the effort, about the coordination with the centers and all that stuff. In the end, I feel like running tournaments, and understand that I've never ran one before, so I'm not coming from a place of knowledge on this, but you got to have confidence that it's going to be accepted, that people are going to sign up and people are going to come. Where does that confidence come from?
I'm pretty much a confident guy. Michelle knew, she's been in the bowling industry her whole life. She bowled at Valpo. She's a college bowler, been around the PBA for a long time. Jason, he's run a few tournaments down in his area. I've bowled in enough tournaments. I think I had a good idea how we could do it. Huge shout out to Val Redhorn, if she's watching, from the Northern Illinois 700 Club. She helped me walk through tournamentbowl.com. That was a great program. It's kind of bowling tournaments for dummies. You really can kind of put stuff together. So go, if you're going to do that, go try it. It's definitely well worth it. If you're too scared to do something, you're never going to do something. So you got to jump in the deep end of the pool and start treading water.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And now the more times we do it, the better. I've seen Jerry Mars do King of the Hills that he runs in Poplar Creek every Friday night. It's amazing. Eric Pollock has done stuff here for Liberty Lanes. Low Lynn's done them for Liberty Lanes. So I've seen how they're done. I'm not saying I'm better at them, because I'm definitely not, because they have a lot more experience. But the more we do, the better we will get.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting that you brought up tournamentbowl.com. I actually had the father of Tournament Bowl, Jeff DeMorest, on the show a while back. He explained the whole deal, and
it's
all that
awesome.
good stuff.
It is fantastic. It is.
Yeah.
They walk you through. There's some tutorials that you can watch. It's definitely, if you're going to do it, it's definitely the way to go.
Cool. Looks like you've got the loyalty here too, because Gabor says you got me here in the Tri-Cities in Tennessee. RJ, you got me and Vicky when we move to South Carolina next summer. I mean, that is probably a good way to gain that confidence too, to have the loyalty from your fans.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I told my wife, there's no easy way to say this, but I call dog tags the flu, because when people meet us, they get it. They just plain and simple get it. When they meet dog tags, they meet Gary, they meet Jason, they meet me, they meet Michelle, they meet our staff, and we talk about our mission statement, serving those that serve us. They get it. People are not going, we're not gonna do that. No,
right?
But they get it. So it's blowing up fast, and we're just gonna kind of continue to grow and do good things and do best we can. Huge shout out to our sponsors. Oh my gosh, H5G. Come on. I mean, listen, go get you some dog tag swag. There is so much dog tag swag on their internet. Come on. This is good stuff. Cassie and Stefan have been fantastic. Their string pins are fine. We did a big tournament there. So you want to help support dog tags? Easy way to do it. Go order a shirt. Go get a dog tags mug. Go get you a dog tags backpack. Okay? There's so much stuff you can get from their website. Hang on one second.
Yeah. While he does what he's going to do, I do want to take this opportunity to remind folks that the Coach K Scholarship is behind the pin that's behind me right there with all the autographs on it. Coach K, Steve Klemkin, comes up with all kinds of raffle prizes and things like that to benefit his scholarship fund for bowlers at Wichita State University. bit.ly/Coach K Scholarship with capital C, K, and S is the place to find more about that. He's back.
That's awesome. Sorry about that. Someone knocked
That's
on the door. We got to talk. Yeah, so those people, Bowler X, I mean, my gosh, they're helping. We got tons of discount codes. And also, people are like, yes, RJ's already ordered shirts. They're awesome. The cool thing about it is you necessarily don't have to get a custom dog tags jersey. You can make whatever jersey you want on their website and say, hey, I want this logo and that logo and this, that, the other thing, and make your own stuff. But you can put that logo right on it. You can put a dog tags bowling logo. Okay, there you go. Just this one right there. You can put that on your shirt, and we will get a cut. Okay. That's all it is. You can put that anywhere you want on it. And that's actually PBA approved, so there's going to be PBA guys out there with that on their jersey soon.
Awesome. Wow. Good stuff. All right. Well, I got one more thing for you tonight. Listen to this.
Let's go off the sheet. Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The Better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
Takes one to know one, right? You've got the passion, so you must know some passionate people. So, Ducey, who'd you like to challenge to be on a future episode of Bowling with the Fef?
Oh, that's a great question. Challenge me on with the Fef. I think AJ Johnson would be a good fit for you.
Okay.
Yep, I do. He's a lot of people seen him bowl, and there's definitely one thing you can say about him. He's passionate.
Yeah.
So I think, and he's a great person for the sport. He's got great stories. Junior gold, great athlete. Moved to Wisconsin. Boulder McKendree, All-American. Got his first PBA win overseas at Lucky Larson. I think AJ would be a good fit, and you could pick his brain, and he's got great stories. Really great stories.
You know, I was actually fortunate enough to have him on early in the run, but that was before he won the title. And I had to ask him, okay, what's it going to take? You know, the question that he had answered 50,000 times before. And I love being able to bring people back when there's a new chapter to their bowling story. There certainly is with him. He's moved to Wisconsin. He's won on the PBA Tour. He's had a baby, for crying out loud.
Got Brantley's running around, a little 4-month-old. Yeah.
So AJ, if you're up for the challenge, we would love to have you back. You know where to find me. I mean, we've been in contact before. So, yeah, come on back, because I'd love to have him on. And, you know, like you said, he is passionate. That's for sure. Gabor says he's got a jersey for the tournament in Indy. So he's all set. And RJ says it was extremely cool for him to have gotten his jersey in an auction and have it framed. Is that AJ or somebody else?
Yeah, so it was super cool. So the dog tags, 9-pin no tap, we had 2 ball raffles. Eric Pollock donated a ball. We had a signed AJ Johnson ball, and we had a signed Sam Cooley ball. So we auctioned or raffled all that off, and a 50-50. And then Chrissy Floyard, who is one of the people who live up there in Johnsburg area, her company, and I apologize, I don't remember her company's name, donated this metal sign. And it's an American flag, and it says "Home of the Free because of the Brave."
Awesome.
And you can go on my YouTube, or you can go on my Facebook and watch a video I have of my man cave. It is extremely patriotic. If you come to my man cave, you will be singing the national anthem. That's just how it walks. Or God Bless America. Yeah. But anyhow, when I saw that, I was like, that's coming home with me. So we did a live auction for that. And then we did a live auction for an AJ Johnson jersey, signed jersey. RJ actually, to the tournament, was wearing a Portland Lumberjack shirt. And AJ didn't appreciate that very much.
Wrong colors.
It's the wrong colors, exactly. He wasn't wearing the Las Vegas High Rollers. So he gave him some grief. And so RJ felt a little obligated that he needed to get the jersey, which he did. And then he took it to Michael's, and he got that sign, or got it framed. And he also has one of AJ's players cards with a signature on it, and another thing that's in it too. It turned out fantastic. It was super cool. And what's really wild is, so I have signed AJ, well, that picture where you brought up with True and Daryl Ratliff and Jesper, but directly behind us in the background.
This one, or?
So that's Daryl right next to my left, right next to Jesper. That's a Kyle Troop jersey. And then above Troop's shoulder is an AJ Johnson signed jersey. So that's how I got to go to Jonesboro, is because I told my wife, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to go 1-2 in Jonesboro. I said, this is Thursday night. I said, I have to go to Jonesboro. She goes, go. That's the provider. That's Jerry Morano. He'd say he's out here. So I said, I got to go to Jonesboro. She says, go. I'm like, all right, cool. So I jump in the car, I drive 8.5 hours to go watch this guy's bowl. So I get down there, and the hijinks, I don't know if you've ever been to hijinks. It's fantastic. It's a great center. It's huge. The Corinne and the girls that run that shop are just so awesome. So anyhow, I see Troop walking away, and I'm like, yo, Troop. He turns around, he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, dude, you go 1-2. I got to come see you. I'm like, where's AJ at? And he's like, he's here somewhere. And he's literally like doing an interview in a room like this. And I walked by, and he's looking at me. He's on the phone. And I said, I walk in there, and he's like, what the hell? And he runs away. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I come all the way down here, and you run away. So then he gets done. He comes walking out, gives me a big hug. He's like, oh, my God, dude, what are you doing here? I'm like, hey, you go at 1-2. I got to come see you. I'm like, why'd you walk away? He goes, I was doing an interview on the radio with people, and I actually dropped the F-bomb, and they had to bleep it out.
Hey, at least you had a good reason.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fun. So I got to hang out with them all weekend long, got some behind the scenes, and that's where I met Gary for the very first time. So without framed jerseys on the wall, dog tags might not include Ducey.
Wow.
Yeah,
great story.
Crazy how things work.
It really is. Tell us one more time where we can find you guys on
Absolutely.
YouTube.
So www.dogtagsbowling.com. That is our website. Please go there. You can order stuff through our website to H5G. There's a link. And then every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central, both on Facebook and on YouTube, is our Dog Tags Bowling channel. Please go on, comment, share stuff, put stuff in there. If you want to see someone else on there, let us know. We'll try and get in touch with people. But we have enough contacts that we can reach out to people and get more people on. We have, like I said, we've got a lineup of people waiting in the wings. So it's all based on their schedule if they can make it. But there's no one that we won't get access to if we want to. I mean, obviously, we may not get Belmo on, but I mean, we've had EJ Tackett on, we've had Tom Smallwood, we've had Marshall Kent after he won the TOC. So I mean, we've had the who's who of bowling, and not saying we don't want to have any more, but we don't necessarily have to focus on the PBA guys. I want to get more people that are regional type guys. I want to talk to pro shop owners. I want to talk about junior gold people. We might get Brian Hirsch on. You know Brian Hirsch.
Sure.
We might get Brian on and talk about his experiences with Mason and what he's doing. So there's so many different aspects that we want to expose and let people know what bowling's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cause is my favorite part of what you do. And I really just wanted to give you kudos for that, because what you're doing is different than really what all of us in the content creation, lifestyle are doing with bowling. And I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, Gary hits it around the head. It is the best non-bowling show on the internet, because it's really not about bowling. It's about a passion. It's about what we enjoy. We enjoy doing what we're doing. And these guys behind me give me grief. But anyway, it's about what we enjoy doing. If we can raise money and give it back to vets, I'm good with that.
Yeah. Gabor says, get Norm Duke.
Get Norm Duke. We might be able to get Norm.
Yeah.
Michelle,
right.
Get Norm.
And in the meantime, I interviewed him once in Minnesota about, I don't know, maybe a year ago. It's deep in the channel, but if you look through my catalog, you'll find him there. Ducey, it has been a pleasure getting to know you. I'm so glad we were able to make this work. And thank you for doing this from the center.
As we discussed at Foxview Lanes, I'm coming on your show. Now we're going to get you on ours.
Absolutely.
But you bowl on Tuesdays?
Nope. I bowl on Thursdays. Just Tuesdays during the summer. And our last night was last night. So
perfect. We're good.
You find a date when you need someone to fill, someone to, keep the commercials from bumping into each other, and and I'm your guy.
Well, I greatly appreciate you reaching out to me. The more exposure we can share each other, that's awesome. Yeah. If there's anything that we can do for you, you can reach out and let us know. But we will definitely get you on our show too. And then, like I said, the bowling community is so freaking small. Everyone's trying to help everybody out. So it's all good.
For sure. Yeah. Really appreciate that and appreciate you. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, whether live or on replay. We will see you again next time.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Theft. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Theft is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards. Email bowlingwiththetheft@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.